Ever wondered why some cities make your blood boil just by hearing their name? Today, we're counting down the top 10 most hated cities in America, and trust me, you won't believe what made the list. Ready to find out if your city is one of them? Let's dive in. Starting out with number 10, Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, the city where Southern charm meets endless traffic. If you've ever driven through Atlanta during rush hour, you know why it's on this list. The traffic is legendary, and not in a good way. It's like playing a game of how long can I keep my sanity? Spoiler, you lose. The city's layout seems like it was designed by someone who wanted to play a cruel joke on commuters. But wait, there's more. Atlanta's weather can be a beast, with sweltering summers that make you feel like you're swimming in humidity. And let's not forget the infamous airport, Hartsfield-Jackson, where layovers turn into sleepovers. Despite all that, Atlanta does have a lot going for it. The food scene is incredible, and there's a rich history and vibrant culture that keep people coming back. Just maybe avoid the highways between 4 and 7 p.m. So whether it's the traffic or the heat, Atlanta certainly has its share of haters. But let's keep moving down the list to see who else gets a bad rap. Number 9, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, the Motor City, where the wheels fell off. Detroit's reputation took a massive hit after the decline of the auto industry, leading to economic hardship, urban decay, and a spike in crime rates. The image of abandoned buildings and empty streets is seared into the national consciousness, making it a poster child for urban blight. But here's the thing, Detroit is a city of resilience. Over the past decade, there's been a significant effort to revitalize the city, and there are pockets of growth and innovation that give hope to the future. The art scene is vibrant, with incredible museums and music venues that pay homage to Detroit's rich cultural history. So while Detroit might still carry the stigma of its past struggles, there's more to this city than meets the eye. If you dig a little deeper, you'll find a community that's fighting to bring Detroit back to its former glory. From the city that once powered America to a city that's always been a bit, well, strange. Let's head to the desert for our next contender. Number 8, Las Vegas, Nevada. What happens in Vegas makes it onto this list. Las Vegas is the city of excess, where neon lights, casinos, and Elvis impersonators reign supreme. For some, it's the ultimate adult playground. For others, it's a neon nightmare. The constant barrage of slot machines, smoky casinos, and the inescapable scent of desperation isn't everyone's cup of tea. Or should I say cocktail. Then there's the heat. If you thought Atlanta was hot, Vegas takes it to a whole new level. It's like living in an oven set to broil year-round. And let's not forget the constant stream of tourists, which can make even a simple trip to the grocery store feel like navigating a theme park on a holiday weekend. But let's be real, Vegas does have its perks. The entertainment is top-notch, the food is amazing, and there's a certain thrill that comes with the city's over-the-top atmosphere. Plus, if you're into people-watching, there's no better place on earth. Vegas might be a love-it or hate-it kind of place, but let's move on to a city where the weather isn't the only thing making people sweat. Number 7, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, where the temperature is hot, but the reception can be cold. Phoenix is another city that suffers from extreme heat, but that's just the beginning. The sprawling nature of the city means that you're often driving long distances to get anywhere. And let's be honest, the scenery isn't always inspiring. Endless desert landscapes can feel monotonous, and the urban sprawl can leave you feeling a bit disconnected. And then there's the dust. Dust storms or haboobs roll through the city, turning everything into a gritty, sandy mess. It's like living in a Mad Max movie, minus the cool cars. But Phoenix isn't all bad. The winters are mild and pleasant, and the city offers some amazing outdoor activities. The proximity to natural wonders like the Grand Canyon and Sedona is a big plus, and the sunsets here are absolutely stunning. So, while Phoenix might have its fair share of challenges, it's not without its moments of beauty. Now let's take a trip to the Midwest for a city that seems to have an identity crisis. Number 6, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, where the river caught fire. Yes, you heard that right. Back in the day, the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland was so polluted that it actually caught on fire. While that's in the past, Cleveland still struggles with its reputation as a city that's seen better days. The weather doesn't do Cleveland any favors either. Cold, snowy winters and gloomy skies for much of the year can make even the most optimistic person feel a bit down. And the sports teams, let's just say Cleveland fans are some of the most loyal and long-suffering in the country. But Cleveland isn't without its charms. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a must-visit for music lovers, and the city's food scene is quietly impressive. Plus, there's a real sense of community here that's hard to find in bigger cities. Cleveland might have its issues, but it's a city with a lot of heart. Now, let's head to the south for a city that's as infamous as it is misunderstood. Number 5, New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans, the Big Easy. It's a city known for its vibrant culture, music, and food, but it's also a city that some people just can't stand. The humidity in New Orleans is off the charts, and if you're not used to it, it can feel like you're swimming through the air. The streets, especially in the French Quarter, can be downright filthy after a big night out, and the crime rate is a concern for both residents and visitors. But here's the thing, New Orleans is one of the most unique cities in America. The history, the music, the food, there's nowhere else like it. The people are warm and welcoming, and there's a sense of celebration that permeates the city, even in the face of adversity. So while New Orleans might not be everyone's cup of gumbo, it's a city that leaves a lasting impression. New Orleans might be a love it or hate it kind of place, but now let's move on to a city where the love is often in short supply. Number 4, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, or as some locals call it, Charm City. But let's be real, charm is in the eye of the beholder. Baltimore has a reputation for high crime rates, poverty, and struggling public services. The Wire effect doesn't help either. The city is often depicted as a place of unrelenting hardship. The infrastructure in Baltimore can be a bit hit or miss, and the public transportation leaves much to be desired. Then there's the rat problem. Yes, rats, lots of them. It's not exactly the kind of wildlife you want to see in an urban environment, but, and this is a big but, Baltimore does have its bright spots. The Inner Harbor is beautiful, with great museums and attractions, and the city has a rich history that's worth exploring. Plus, let's not forget the seafood. Crab cakes, anyone? Baltimore might have its issues, but it's also a city with a lot of potential. Let's head to the West Coast for a city that's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Number 3, San Francisco, California. San Francisco, the city by the bay, or as some might say, the city that's gone astray. San Francisco is a place that once symbolized the American dream, but lately, it's become a city of contrasts. The cost of living is astronomical, with sky-high rents that make it nearly impossible for the average person to live comfortably. The homelessness crisis is visible and heartbreaking, and the streets are often lined with tents and encampments. And then, there's the tech industry, which has brought both innovation and inequality to the city. The culture of San Francisco has shifted dramatically, and not everyone is on board with the changes. But despite these challenges, San Francisco is still a stunningly beautiful city with iconic landmarks, world-class food, and a cultural vibrancy that's hard to match. If you can afford to live there, that is. San Francisco's got its issues, but it's still a city that holds a special place in many hearts. Now let's take a trip to a city where the weather is hot, the politics are hotter, and the opinions are scorching. Number 2, Washington, D.C. Washington, our nation's capital and the epicenter of political drama. It's a city that embodies the phrase, "can't win for losing." On one hand, you've got the monuments, the museums, and all that rich history. On the other hand, you've got the politics, the gridlock, and an atmosphere of tension that feels palpable no matter where you go. One major gripe about DC is the cost of living, which is sky high. Rent is outrageous, and buying a home? Forget about it unless you've got deep pockets. The traffic is notoriously bad, with roundabouts that seem designed to test your patience. And let's not even get started on the humidity in the summer. Sticky, thick, and relentless. But DC isn't all bad. It's a city of power, where decisions are made that impact the entire world. The cultural scene is vibrant, with theaters, music venues, and some of the best restaurants in the country. Plus, the Smithsonian museums are free, can't beat that. Washington, D.C. may be a political hotbed, but it's also a city with a lot to offer if you can get past the politics. And now, it's time to reveal the number 1 most hated city in the United States. Number 1, Los Angeles, California. Ah, Los Angeles, the city of angels, or as some might say, the city of broken dreams. LA tops our list as the most hated city in America, and it's easy to see why. The traffic alone is enough to drive anyone crazy. Pun intended. It's like a daily game of survival on the 405, with gridlock that seems never-ending. If you're not stuck in traffic, you're probably stuck behind a smog cloud because air quality here can be less than ideal. And then there's Hollywood, which is both a blessing and a curse. For every glamorous red carpet event, there's a reminder of the stark divide between the rich and the struggling. Homelessness is a major issue, with encampments visible across the city. The cost of living is sky high, and it's not just housing. Everything seems to come with a LA surcharge, but let's not be too hard on LA. The city has a unique charm with beautiful beaches, incredible weather when it's not smoggy, and a melting pot of cultures that makes it one of the most diverse cities in the world. The food scene is world-class, and there's never a shortage of things to do, whether it's hiking in the hills, surfing in the ocean, or catching a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. Los Angeles may be a city of contradictions, but it's also a place that people from all over the world flock to in hopes of making their dreams come true. Hate it or love it, Los Angeles leaves a lasting impression.